All right, how you doing? So, what was I doing there? Okay, I was playing the B minor pentatonic scale over a B minor backing, right? Okay, makes sense. But what I'm doing, not sure how long you saw, and we're going to repeat this later, but what I was actually doing was playing that B minor pentatonic scale differently, in different ways. Okay? You saw me playing the traditional position, right? Right? That's how we all learn. Now that's the B. We generally learn the A. That's the first one. We'll also deal with that today. But what I want to talk about today, and I've got a video coming either later tonight or tomorrow that will recap all this, or this sneak previews the video, or however you want to put it, right? And more. But what I want to show you is something that for me really allowed me to take control of not only my minor pentatonic scale playing, but my general fretboard knowledge. Okay, it went through the roof. And I really didn't know what I was doing. I just kind of stumbled onto something and I started doing it, and all of a sudden, within like an hour, I knew my 5 notes of my A minor tonic, right? A, C, D, E, G, A, C, D, E, G, A, C, D, E, G. And then not long after that, B, D, E, sharp A, B, D, E, F sharp A, B, D, E, F sharp A, the minor pentatonic. And then not long on, C, D sharp F, G, A sharp. I mean, it just started flowing, right? So how and why did that happen? Well, I kind of think it's the way that I started learning the scale. So let me explain. When we start out, oh, and also, just before I tell you that, in my opinion, okay, in my opinion, there is so much out there. Okay, we talked about this a little bit in the beginner show, and I've talked with you before. When we did, me included, why I quit twice, right? And the third time I finally got it, was nobody told me how to proceed, right? So we have these things with guitar, like it's endless. You could spend 20 years and not get through it all. So you got to figure out what stuff is right for you with playing what you want to play and what level you want to be at, right? And for most of us, it's open chords. Oh, I'd like to play along a little bit, maybe play notes while someone else is playing or whatever. But like, again, we're not Van Halen here, right? We just want to be decent guitarists. And all right, so it's almost like the stock market, right? You can pick out individual stocks, or you can buy something that has kind of like a basket of all those stocks in it, and you don't really have to worry about it, right? Well, this is what this lesson is today. I'm going to show you, right? We're going to talk pentatonic, because look, as I said, there's all kinds of information. There's scales coming out of your yin-yang. Look, the end of the day, especially at our level, we really only need one scale. 2 is great, no more than 3. Okay? Now, and I'll explain that. People ask me, what scale should I learn? What scale should I learn first? Well, as far as your playing goes and how it's going to help you tomorrow, the minor pentatonic, I call it, and Jeff, you'll probably understand what do you call it? I can't remember the word for it, but not sure what that question was there about the pinky, but the all-purpose flower of scales. So what I mean by that is, if you're baking and you're baking bread, you want to use a bread flour, really. Okay, I guess it's got the glutens and all that and blah, 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 you know, and then there's pastry flour. And then there's good old-fashioned all-purpose flour. And it is basically what it says. You can make pastry, you can make everything with this. It may not be to the real palate, the real top guy on the palate pole. He might say, oh, you know, you should have used a stronger flour, whatever. Okay. That is going to come, Nitesh. I'll deal with that a little bit later, okay? That's something that will come naturally in your journey as you physically adapt to what you're doing. So the all-purpose flour allows you to do pretty much anything that you can do with specialty flours, all right? The minor pentatonic, in my opinion, and how it works for me, is the all-purpose scale. Man, I've played that thing at open mics, playing the B.B. King, like hardcore blues guys. You know, the A, E, B kind of guys and all those little bluesy things, guys on their resonator guitars and the real hard guys. I've sat down and, okay, what key? Are you in the key of B? Okay. And I've played the B minor pentatonic scale. And no problem. Okay? Again, satisfying Mozart here, or again, Eddie Van Halen or anybody like that. We are just wanting to sound good with our guitars, right? Okay. So let's start there. And to be honest, the minor, especially in A, seems to be it's what we all learn first, right? So what do they tell you? They tell you to go along this string. There's A, 4 frets, 2 fret, 4 frets, 4 frets, and then play it backwards. Done. All right, now the first time around for me, starting a guitar journey, I learned that just as you heard it. Nothing fancy, there's no music involved. I'm just playing, running the notes, as it were. And then over time you get faster, but you're still playing the same shape up and down, right? Okay. And we're doing that 5/8, 5/7, 5/7, 5/7 thing. And that, to me, was one of the biggest obstacles. But that's, again, everything I do here is my point of view, right? What helped and what happened with me. So we've got that. That's what they tell us. And if you want to play simple, B minor pentatonic, well, we start 2 frets up, and we do the exact same shape. Of course, the notes are different, but the shape is the same. Oh, this is easy. And the same thing, and on and on and on. But again, unless you're actually learning your notes, you're relying on pattern shapes, and that's great till it isn't. And when isn't it great? Well, you just don't want to be repeating yourself up and down, playing the same notes in the same octave. Okay? And you'll get by with it. At our level, no. But as you get better and as you start realizing that you can play those same notes elsewhere on the fretboard and get a different octave, you get a different sound out of them. But if it's the same notes, though, right? And they call that positions. So we go, okay, so we learn our A minor. I know that now. I'd go learn my B minor and my C minor and my... No, we don't think that way. We go, oh, let's learn major pentatonic. So we swap over to the major shape and we learn that pattern, or the blues, or whatever scale it is, the major scale, and we learn that. And we move that all around. And we do the 5 and 6, 9, and whatever the heck it is, okay? All right, we're missing out on 2 really big opportunities here. A, to learn the notes on your fretboard, because as long as we keep using numbers, I got nowhere with it, right? So to me, after I was just still doing this. and not using it in my guitar playing. It was just a scale that I could put a feather in my cap and say, hey, I know the A minor pentatonic scale. Oh, same shape, I know the B and I know the G, I know the C and I know the D, and this is easy. All right. So what we're doing here today is we're going to play these scales, we're going to learn them differently, and then find out I can use that in my everyday guitar playing. Now, some of you that are already using scales to play over backing tracks and have the ability to do that, well, you're probably already doing this. You maybe call it something else, right? Okay. Now, while doing this, this is a perfect way to not only learn your fretboard, but to learn all the notes, the 5 notes in all the pentas that we would normally use. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. We learn the minor pentatonics, the notes, the 5 notes in all of those. We pretty much got the whole fretboard covered. Now, like a lot of you, I've used apps. Ding, F sharp. Where's the A? Oh, press there. There's the A. Show me the C. Oh, there's the C. I've done all that. Scored 100%. Okay? I've got the blank sheet with the guitar strings and sat down and named everything. 100%. But like I always say, the minute I look at it from a different way, so in other words, I don't see this flat, the strings, and oh yeah, look, there's G and there's A and there's G. Okay, I don't see that. I see this, kind of a different angle. And I'm like, oh God. And then there's people watching me, waiting for what I'm gonna do. And I often say the lights are on and people are watching. And all of a sudden it's like, I don't know where anything is, okay? I get a 0 on my test score, but I know all the notes on paper. So this will help you put that to the board. Now, I tried every way. And this is the only way that I can truly and confidently say today that if you said to me F sharp, okay, without looking, go like this. Let's see where I did. I was close. I got A. So I should have been here. Okay. Right? But I know when I look down where I'm at. And if you know where you're at, you can go anywhere. So this is like knowing the road map. But you need some information, you need notes. And for me, the best way was just playing notes and calling those notes out. Okay? So, in the traditional way, what does that mean? Well, it means this, right? It means A, C, D, E, G, A. So there's my penta. A, C, D, E, G, octave A. 6 notes, but there's the 5 at the end of the G. So now I know that my A minor pentatonic scale is A, G, D, E, right? And then back to the G and A. And we start all over again, right? I'm not going 5-7, 5-7, 5-8. So that's the first thing we got to stop doing. We got to know our notes of the scale. Now, in this case, once we know those 5 notes, now we can venture out and play elsewhere. Now, yeah, there's shape, but if we know the notes, that kind of supersedes the shapes because the shapes help to know what they are, what the second position looks like, which would be it starts at the end of that. There's the C note, right? There's your A, there's C. So now we got to move to D. So we got C, D, G, A, and we got the E. So we got these. This is the second position, the highest part. Of course, we connect it by just sliding back at any time to the root of A. So we got a 4 and a 2, right? 1, 4, 2. Remember that. All right. Technically, yeah, you're playing the second position. I didn't know. You don't have to know, but you do have to know that you're playing the proper notes. In this case, it was the D, E, C, D, E. No matter what you call that, it does all chicken fluff. You're playing the right notes. So your ears say, hey, you're doing good. Who cares what it's called? It sounds good, right? Okay. Now, how do we get there and why need to know this? Well, here's what we're going to do. Let's play and practice our pentatonic on one string. Okay? I'm going to play a track here, B minor. And I'm going to start on this B right here. Okay? Now notice I'm not starting on this B, which is the... Right? They all work. Sounds great. Okay. But I'm going to start here, and I'm going to play string. I'm playing the same notes. Listen. Same notes. But I'm playing them on one string. And as I'm playing them, B, right? D, E, F sharp, A, B, D, or E, F sharp, A. Now there's a formula to learning that along one string, and it's root, that's 1, 4, 2, 2, 4. 1, 4, 2, 2, 4. 1, 4, 2, 2, 4. 1, 4, 2, 2, 4. 1, 4, 2, 2, 4. Right? Okay. Let's apply that to C or A. Well, we all know our A. Let's apply it to our A. 1, 2, 4, 4, 2. So we're not going to use the traditional right here. We can, and we will. I want to show you that it works anywhere on any string. So let's start here on this A. There's our 1. 1. Now we go up 4. Well, 3, but we always include, we count like that, the fret 1. So we don't go 1, 2, 3, 4. We go where our finger is 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So in that case, we have A, 2, 3, 4. That's a C. Second note in the pentatonic minor. Then we go up 2, right? 1, 2. Right? We have this note here, D. And we go up 2 again, and we have E. And then we finish off with a 4, and that takes us right here to G. Those are 5 notes of the A minor pentatonic. A, C, D, E, G. There's your scale. And the octave, right? So, sorry. 1, 2, 2, 2, and the octave. All right. So, again, here's an A.
This is FTMO,
Okay, so let's
and it's
just,
trading for funds traders and gives you up to a $400,000.
Okay, so here's A minor. Okay, very slow. That's right. 1, 4, 2, 2, 4. Okay? Now, here's why we do this. First of all, again, to learn the notes. A, C, D, G. Now I know my notes in A. If it's B, right? B, D, E, F sharp, A. When I do this 10 times, 20 times, whatever it is, and call out the notes, not only am I going to recognize the notes in my head, right? But you see them on the guitar. Now I know that that's a B. Maybe I didn't know that before. Now I know. Now we can go anywhere. We can go, okay, so Ray, you take one note and you go two, it goes up two. So this would be B, C sharp, E to F sharp. Even though those aren't the scale notes, if that's a B, that's a C sharp, right? Because you go up two. If this is a G, then that's got to be an A, right? And what's always above a G? A D. And what's always below a C? A C. So now we're into learning the fretboard by saying, okay, if this is a G, then always under a G is a C. So I don't even have to look and I know that's a C. And if there 2 frets up is an A, there's GA, there's CD. I know that. And me, I always started with this dot. For some reason, I knew that was a D. And because I look down, it looks like that string is running right through the middle of the dot when it's not, right? But it is when you're at that angle. So I always knew that was a G. So anywhere I was, I'd say, okay, that's a G. I know this is an A. And what's always above a G is a D. And what's always below is a C. So now I know G, A, C, D, right? Because 2 frets up, C to a D, 2 frets A. And if this is a D, 2 frets up is an E. So now I know these 3 right in the middle of the guitar, which also happen to be the meat of the A minor pentatonic, but that's just a coincidence. So now I'm starting, next time I play guitar, I know that's a G or I know that's a B based on playing my string, my scale along the string. So it really helped me. It doesn't happen overnight, but like within a week, from repetitiveness and taking note of the notes, not the numbers, right? Yeah, hi, Lewis. Yeah, I don't know either. That's been happening lately, and it's also happening in other like in other people's videos too. I went to a mechanic guy my dad follows, and I wanted to see, he told me to go check out his channel, and the same thing. And I don't understand if it's because of the amount of people or it's, I don't know. And I don't think it used to happen, but I am on it. I'm trying to figure it out, and I am on it. And that's probably the best thing to tell you at this point. But anyways, okay, so another reason that we learn it this way. So we've talked about it helps us understand the notes of the scale. And if you know the 5 notes, then later on when you get and you're able to know where you are on your fretboard. So for example, if I'm playing an A, right, and I've kind of lost my way and I'm playing the GA, which is part of the pentatonic, and the D and the C, and I come over here and I play it this note here, which naturally you would, right? Because it doesn't sound bad. Slide over, grab that B, but that's when the X comes up and it says, hey, played a note that isn't in the scale. Now, if I'm playing to a backing track for myself, it's still going to sound good and I really don't care. But if you're in a situation where it is dependent on you to play those 5 notes from the scale and within the minor pentatonic, say in A, then you can't play that note. So by knowing your notes, right, and knowing that formula, you'll know that you can't go there. I can't go to that B. So if I'm playing A minor pentatonic, I can't do this. I can go down here and do it, but I can't do it here. I can't play a 4-note box here. And I love my 4-note boxes, okay? I play those all the time, no matter what scale I'm in. Box, not the note. In other words, that's an example of me playing the shape, not the note, or not the scale. I'm playing the shape, the box, okay? So in that case, this would be wrong if I was in a pentatonic to play this little 4-note box here. It's not right. So that's where knowing the note, not the 5-7-5-7 or whatever. Randy, I'm not sure if I'm doing this right, but in the community tab, I posted all of the notes, the 5 notes in scale from A to G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's all there. And I also showed you the formula along one string to find the notes of any minor pentatonic scale. Okay? You would start at the root, C, and go C, 4, and you'd play this note right here. And then 2, 2, 4. Okay? That will give you the notes to the pentatonic. So, or the minor pentatonic, sorry. Now, here's where else remember, now we're in this theory, we're away from the playing the shapes. We're playing the notes, not the shapes. And wherever the notes are, we can go. It's fair game. No matter where it is on the fretboard, we can go. Regardless of anything, as long as it's the notes. And here's what I mean by that. So let's take the A minor pentatonic. And we go A, C, D, E, G, A, right? A, C, D, G, A. Right? Okay. Well, for some reason, especially someone mentioned earlier, touching the pinky. Now, I've always had trouble doing this with those 4 there, right? And the G is a little harder because the frets are slightly further apart. And it is difficult to get that pinky into play and switch over to the ring finger on the string below, right? So I started doing this with my ring finger. Bad habit, don't recommend it, but I do it and I've done it and it works for me, but I don't recommend that pinky going, but it can be difficult. So here's what we can do. And I'm sure some of you know this, or a lot of you might know this. We're playing something in A minor pentatonic, okay? All right. Now, traditionally, we could do this. A, C, or with the pinky. D, E, E, A. Or, to make it easier, it's this. That's an open A. Well, that's the same as playing that. Okay? So, here's my open A. What's here? It's a C. So here we have A, C, where I got to stretch my pinky. Why can't I just do this? A, C. Listen. It's the same thing. So how does this work out? Well, we go A, C, D, right? A, root, 4, well in this case 1, 2, 3, there's our C, right? So A, C, 2, 2. So now we can go one string. 1, 2, 3, 4. We 4 notes and we don't have to do the stretch. See the stretch here? Right? So instead of that, so for your question, for the question about stretching, it's always good to stretch. And as you start getting more comfortable with your guitar, you'll be able to get that pinky over, or the ring finger, if that's the way you want to go, but I don't recommend that. Okay? So we A, C, and this works for all the others as well. Instead of doing that, I can just do I'm doing the same thing, right? Okay. So I want to make sure that we're following along here, because it's kind of a cool little hack. Not doing it, really. I'm not doing it to, how would you say, let you know that you shouldn't or couldn't or don't do that. Don't start, don't, Ray said not to play these A and C on this string when I'm playing. What I'm saying here, I'm giving you an option. Now the octave, they sound pretty close. There's the AC, and here's the AC. I always find those open, always sound a little richer. There's something going on in the vibration. It makes them sound a little different, like deeper, maybe richer, maybe. Right? So what I just did there is the same as this. I just find it a little bit easier that way. Okay? I'm able to do that because I learned my scale along one string. So I could sort of zip in and out of it whenever I want. Now let me get I don't know. Let's see if we can.
If you're sitting around Googling how to make money on the internet and your ass is tired of being broke,
we're all looking to make money on the internet. Okay, so here we go. A little quicker thing, okay? So normally, shapes we could play. I find that a bit tiresome, and it's starting to get a little bit, you know what I mean? Okay. Yeah, the spider exercise is very good. Absolutely. Spider exercise is very good. I didn't do it when I was younger, or when I in my journey, and I regret it today. So that's a good one. All right, so that's the way we normally would approach this, right? But now we're doing it this way. Now I can slip into that A minor anytime I want. The regular A minor, pentatonic. I find this a lot easier than this. Now we can run the just gives us options, right? And that's what, if everybody played everything the same, we would have everybody would sound the same. Everything would sound the same. All the songs would sound the same. Everybody does something different. Okay? So this is our way of doing something different. Now, here's another thing. Let's say we're playing, again, let's stick to the A minor thing, because that's, again, what we all know. All right? So, backing track or a band, or you're at an open jam, and they're playing something in C or A minor, and you're thinking, oh, great, I can use my A minor pentatonic. And you start playing around, and everything is going good. But after 3 or 4 minutes of this, you're starting to sound repetitive, redundant. You sound... Well, when I know my notes, my 5 notes, I don't care what position it is. I don't even know my positions. I know my notes. So, I mean, I tell you what the positions are, right? But I don't think when I'm playing. I think, where are the notes? So I'm playing my A pentatonic, and all of a sudden, let's start it up, I decide to play here. Because I can. C, D, C. Now I can't go and play the F. C, D, C, A. That's a good one. A, C, G, A, G, A. Listen. Now I can't slide up to the B. Now you notice I played that open, because that's a G, open. And I can play a G because G is in my 5 notes of my pentatonic.
Did you know that 7 is the magic?
Here's another thing I can do based on what we just talked about, right? I could say, okay, no problem, let's start here on the A. Now, by doing that, I'm jumping into the middle of what we already know as the pentatonic shape. So I'm going A over here, jumping to that C, so that's your A, C, right? So C, D, C, D, E, D, C. Right? That's the same as doing this. Now, you can play that open string, which is G, which is a good note in the A minor pentatonic. The only thing you got to be careful in any key playing with open strings is if you're playing the majority of your other notes, then all of a sudden, this open G, even though it works, it's a little low for what we're doing. Right? So you got to keep that in mind, because it might sound like a bad note, because look, all these notes kind of sound the same, right? If we're up here especially. And then all of a sudden we play, it works, but it's a lower note. It's the open string. Generally, I mean, not an official rule, but generally what I do is I kind of think after the 5th fret, I stop playing the open strings. That's kind of like a rule of thumb I have. It could be the 4th on some, or in some keys, or the 6th. But I generally, like, if I'm playing notes here in these frets, I'll include the open string, right? But if I'm playing, we just play G, B. So if I'm playing here somewhere, let's say I'm playing G, G, B, G, B, G. I might not play that open G, or, you know, because it might not sound right. But it's still a good note, and that's what I want you to understand. So what we're doing here is we are changing, or we are looking at the process in a different way. Right? I can't play because it messes up the copyright. So then I have to go and mute out the video or delete the part because I'll get a copyright. That's what they do now. So just why on the live shows, if I play cover songs, I just delete the video. I'd like this video to stay up for a while. Even though I'm releasing a video later that'll cover this, I like it to stay up just to let people the live shows are like and stuff like that. But yeah, so Barb and L. Lewis, the Spider is a great, when I first saw it, I was too early, and so it's like most of you, I want to learn guitar every day. Oh, let's check out YouTube, or let's check out wherever, TikTok or wherever. And what came up that caught my fancy, I'd go, oh, that's cool, I should learn that. Which is not the way to do it, as you've probably already know, because you don't know what you're learning, and you don't know how far up the ladder that is. And there's things that are just not to be dealt with until you're ready, both mentally and physically. And for me, that was one of them. So the first time, and I can't remember, I'm going to say it was the G. The guy said, put it on the G, and 1 finger per fret, right? See, I still have a hard time with it. And this is what happened to me. And I couldn't do it. And then I got intimidated and I thought, oh, that's terrible, because I wanted results. I expected results today, right away. Got to have results. And when I wasn't sounding good, right, I bailed, and I should have never done that. So good for you. It's a great exercise because, you know, to be honest, adapting these three fingers, I didn't play note scales for a while. I did learn my A minor pentatonic, like most of you, when I was just starting out, which why I did, I don't know. It had no use to me whatsoever. But when I did start to take notes seriously and little riffs, I was obsessed with making little riffs and playing along with other people. So I really quickly realized that these are the two fingers right here, right? That we tend to play. And I was off to the races. I was playing up and down, but I was only playing these two fingers. Slide over, slide over. Right? I was only going the two. So good for you, because not so much right now. I mean, you do have it with the pentatonic, that 4-fret stretch, right? But later on also, when you learn the major scale, oh, okay, so I'm not saying I don't ever, but what I will tell you is more often than not, when I'm playing here, let's say I'm playing here, G, A, right? I'm playing G, A, C, D, and I'm got a backing track going and I'm doing my thing, right? That's a G, remember. That's an A, okay? What I generally don't do is that. You see what I just did? Right? So what am I doing here? Well, I'm playing the G note, playing the A note, and I'm playing the G open. So there's the G fretted, and there's the G note open. It's quite a different octave. So it doesn't, to me, all right, so I don't play it. So my rule is, I always go by my ear first. So when in doubt, what does the ear say? So if okay, there's a rule, right? Or it sounds good or bad. I go by whether or not it sounds good or bad. To heck with the rule. Because again, I'm not an aspiring session musician that has everything perfect. I just want to make music. I just want to play along. And if that open G, to me at that time, after doing this, if that sounds good for some reason, play it. I hope that answers your question, but generally no. Why? Because it's almost obvious that it doesn't, right? It'd be like playing G, A, and then going to the open A string. Or playing this, playing D, E, and then going up and hitting the E here. Now what I would do is this, like if I wanted to incorporate one of these like that, this is what I might do. E, right? So while it's ringing out, play these. Like an intro to a song or something. You know what I mean? So let's go E. You know, it worked that way, right? Because it's kind of like it's like an intro, or it could be an outro, or it could be just a little piece of music that you want to play over something else, just a couple of notes like that in the part of a song. Oh, it works. So don't ever say never. Like don't say, oh, don't ever do that. No, sometimes it showed you that way, right? Or if we're up here, I could play, let's say it's E, right? And then I might go and play. That works. But this wouldn't, right? D, E, G, A. D, E, G, A, G. As not only is it out of your area that you're working on, so when you're playing real fast, that's going to be tough to go up and get that E like that anyways, but it just doesn't sound right. Right? So I guess the proper voicing, yeah, voicing is one of the words, or octave. It's just a different octave, right? And that's, again, and that's why learning your scale, your minor pentatonic on one string, you actually get a chance to change octaves as you're playing. So if I was, again, playing that A minor pentatonic, right? Now I could start with that G, because it's A, I shouldn't say A, but it's a G is minor pentatonic. So I could start with that open G, fret into the A. But now I'm playing, like I'm not playing a true first position where the first root note has to, like that has to be the first note. I'm actually playing what would be called A, C, D, E, fifth position, because all the positions mean is that you're starting on the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth note of the song, right? So A minor pentatonic in the first position means the first note, A. Second note, C. Third note, D. Fourth note, E. Fifth note, G. If I wanted to start in the fifth position, then I would start on the G. So in this case, it could be an open G, and I could fret into that A. Now this is a big stretch here, admittingly, because on this part of the guitar, 4 frets is a little bit wider than this part of the guitar, which would be a little bit or a lot less wide than, say, in this part of the guitar. There's my 4 frets. So here's my A to C, right? Here's my A to C, like I can really barely get moving. But look at here. Here's my A, so I could play A, C, D, E. There's A, C. There's 4 of the 5 right there. So I could play this, this. Because those are the notes that are pentatonic. Now if I was playing this and I wanted to add a G, let's say, so there's my D, E, A, C, and I wanted to add, see, I keep going to that B, and I wanted to add a G, there's the open G. Doesn't really, right? So let's do that. D, E, it's right because it's a G, but it didn't sound right. It didn't mix in with those wow, 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 bong, like it just didn't sound right. So if I'm playing here, right, and I, E, right, A, D, E, there's my C, and I wanted to add a G, I'd probably just slide out to this G right here. See, there's where your shapes change, right? So you're not in your traditional, like your traditional here in the first position is to go 4 on these 2 strings, but it doesn't work in this position because the notes aren't there. They're in place. So in this position, I gotta go 2, not, if I do that, that's wrong. That's an F. I'm playing C, F, and I have to play after the C, or after or before, but I have to play a D, an E, a G, or an A to the C. So There's my C, there's my D, there's my E. I could play the G here. All works. Now again, if you were to analyze this, so if we were to superimpose the boxes or shapes of the various positions, everything that I've just will show up correct. So even though I played here, right? So we were playing here, and then I went down here and played. If I was to suppose one of the positions of the A minor pentatonic, there would be a shape here that includes okay, so in this case it would probably be, there's your C, there's your D, there's your G, there's your A, there's your G here, another G here, and then we would use this here. Open D, which is a note in the pentatonic, and fretted D, which is an E, and that's another note. So we have 1, 2, G, A. That's how I would play the pentatonic notes in this position. And then I might use the GA as, so for example, I might be playing along and I might do something like this. Just as a little, okay. So again, happens, this is what happens. We break away from being strict by the book. This is how you play your pentatonic scale, or any scale. I'm just using pentatonic today, the all-purpose scale. Because, again, most of us, that's the one we learn first. And we've seen how we can now, we can make music differently, but still be correct, still be politically correct for all the guitar snobs that we might end up playing with out there, and they're everywhere. You don't always see them, they're undercover. But rest assured, do something wrong, no matter where you are, a snob will stand up and identify himself as being a guitar snob and will correct you on the mistake that you just made. Okay? So the more things we can do, the better. Again, we've got that option now. And again, this works anywhere. So again, I want all of you to take notice of my community tab on the page. So you'll find there be a link, a Google Doc link or something. And it's all of the notes from A to G, the 5 notes of the minor pentatonic. Okay? Now, again, this I've been saying before with, you know, when should I learn another scale or when should I move on? Well, not until you know what you know inside and out, right? So we talked about chords, playing our open chords. A lot of people, they play open chords, they kind of play them half well. Next, because they think the time clock is running and I got to learn as much as I can, as quick as I can. So now I'm going to go on to bar chords and power chords and scales and triads and all that before you master what you know. And I repeat it all the time because it is so important and it's so true. Master what you know, because if you fell off of a bridge, okay, and were unable to learn anything else, you have mastered up until that fall, okay, you'll always have. So if I only know how to play 3 chords, I'll always have that ability play those 3 chords. Hopefully quite well. But that's all I know how to do. But that's okay, because I play it really well. And I've already proven this. You guys don't know it other than me telling you. I have gone in my early stages out to open mics or open whatever. And I sat there and played my 2 songs or 3 songs, all with the same chords. And at that time, I was getting pretty good with my chord playing, like I was okay. Nothing fancy. I wasn't dotting any notes or anything like cups, no walk downs, just playing chords. And people thought, hey man, it's good. Yeah, this guy's pretty good. I only know 3 chords, but you don't know that because I didn't tell you that. Right? So remember, that's important. Oh, favorite Stones song. Wow. Jumpin' Jack Flash. Get Off of My Cloud and Action. I'm an old school dude. Yeah, I like Honk Tonk and Brown Sugar and Dead Flowers and all that stuff from the Main Street album, sure. But I also got to have an honorary mention for Angie, okay? And a lot of times, as you know, like I'm not looking at these songs as being, oh, because they are played a certain way or they this. That does not do it. Like it's what went on in my life when that song was out. How do I relate? When I hear that song, Angie, what do I think about? And whatever I think about is good. So I like that song, right? I think we all do that. So, yeah, I like the Hey You Get Off of My Cloud. I remember when I was a kid, a late night was every week or it was like once a month or I don't know what it was. There was a thing on one of the channels, American channels. I lived in Canada, but we got American channels on our cable thing. And it was Don Kirshner's concert. And I wasn't really allowed to stay up that late at that age. I was really young. But I do remember, I don't know what it was. I remember opening my eyes, right? And Mick Jagger, the Stones were on this Don Kirshner's rock concert. Mick Jagger had this like blue sparkly jumpsuit on and he had eye makeup and all that. And he had his hands and he was going, you, my cloud. And you know how the way he vamps it up. And I was like, odd. I think a lot of people had that reaction to when they first saw Bowie. But mine was Mick Jagger. And it was like, wow. It's like, wow. You don't see that in 1972 or whatever it was. Probably earlier than that. It's probably like 70 or 71. So those songs are but I mean, like a group like the Songs, I mean, it's hard to pick out favorites. I mean, Start Me Up. That was from what, 81. I like that song, Start Me Up. You know, it is what it is. But so all right. So let's do a little recap here. What we've done so far today. Okay. And keep an eye, as I mentioned, the community tab. So hopefully if you go there under community, you will see this Google document. And I'm pretty sure I did it right. Please let me know if you can't access it for whatever reason. There's a reason I'm called The Wired Idiot, my channel. It was about an idiot trying to use mixers and record myself and record to my iPhone and all that stuff, use technology. And then it kind of morphed into this thing, okay? But I am going to be doing more gear stuff now. So yeah, Waiting for a Friend is cool. That's a cool song for sure. Yeah, that's a good one. That is a nice little group. Ooh, 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 right? All right, so again, if you go to that community tab, you should see a Google document. If you open it up, it explains the formula. 14224. That's all you got to remember to find any minor pentatonic scale. And I'm going to throw some weird ones here. F. How many people have ever played the F minor pentatonic scale? All right, Ray, what are the notes? Well, let's use the formula. Let's pick any F, right? I suppose the easy one would be here, so we won't do that. So or the common one would be the F here, right? F, right? F, right there. Okay, let's take another F. So why don't we take an F that's maybe here? This is an F, right? There's an F. There's an F. Okay? So we could also take the F here. Let's take the F here because it got more string. All right, so F. What's the formula? 1, 4, 2, 2, 4, right? Root 4, 2, 2, 4. So in this case, the root is F. There's our F. So we go root 4. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We include the one that we're on. That takes us to this note right here. A flat or G sharp. F, G sharp. Then we go 2. That's A sharp. Okay? Or okay? Then we go from the A sharp, we go to C, which is 4. Okay? So F. So 1, 4, 2, 2, 4. All right? Ending on a D sharp. That's how you find it. So if you want to find it in C, go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have a C, an E flat. We go up 2. Right? We have an F sharp, or an F, sorry, and then we go to G, and then we go to A sharp, 4. 1, 4, 2, 2, 4. And if you take a half hour, an hour, whatever, and just work on that one string on the one key, and that's all you do. So I'm just expecting a message about my car, so when I hear my phone go, I'm just checking. Beto D, under my thumb, I like it, but I'm going to tell you something. Here in Canada, we had in the 70s a band called Street Heart, and they covered Under My Thumb, and I liked it way more than the Stones version. In fact, that's my all-time. So if you ever want to check it out, the band is called Street Heart. Street Heart. And they're a Canadian band from the 70s. Ken is the lead singer. When they kind of broke apart, and actually that was the beginning of a band called Loverboy. That some of the Street Heart members went over to a band called Loverboy, which remember, even in the southern states, I think Loverboy was pretty popular. Everybody's working for the weekend, right? There was that kind of a thing, right? So, sorry, I don't know any Ricky Nelson stuff, but all right. So remember, 1, 4, 2, 2, 4. You'll find all the pentatonic, the 5 pentatonic notes. Okay, so G. Go 4, G, B flat, jump up, right, to C, so that's G, B flat, C, D, there's your 2 2s, F. There's your 5 notes. So if you work that over and over again, you'll start understanding your notes and your fretboard. So now, just after a few days, you know, little things like a lot of people stop at the double dots. But after the double dots, it starts all over again. So that F that I landed on here from the key of G, G minor pentatonic. So I got it. Now I know that's an F. Right? F, F. Sometimes if you want to be fancy and you're playing an F here, you can do that. It's the same note, it's just octaves higher. Right? So again, by learning the scale on one string, it gives us options when we're playing our pentatonic. And the most notable was exactly what we mentioned by incorporating the open string for the A and playing the C here and then sliding into the D, E. Then we embark on the rest of the shape as normal instead of having to come up here and do that. Right? And then we looked at things that wherever we see those notes, right? So I have a G-A. Okay, right here, I'm in the pentatonic. Where am I going with it? Right? So there's my G-A. If I go over 4, there's my split to my C. I'm playing this the same as playing here. Playing this part right here, it's the same thing. All right. Oh, yes, okay. Looks like share request. Do I have to... I don't know why, but it looks like I have to... So it looks like I have to, for some reason. I'll find out why. If anybody knows why, shouldn't I be able to just put those document links up there and then all of a sudden anybody can see it, or do I have to something? So Pietro, I got your request. Someone else sent a request. Donald. So let me know if anybody knows. That's strange. I don't understand why I have to do that. Is there something I can do to make anybody... I don't know. Maybe someone can email me or something and let me know. Now, before you move on, okay, because there are 2 other scales I probably would recommend that you learn. Now, this is for general people that want to kind of play a bit of everything. If you are a blues fanatic and that's your goal, is to play the blues, well, you may not... I would still learn the A minor or the minor pentatonic because it does sound good. It's moody, it's minor, it's going to sound good with the blues. And again, it's an all-purpose scale. It'll sound good with anything. So you still might that. But then you go right to the blues, right? Learn the blues scale or learn, you know, whatever out there the blues guys are using. But this is just in general for those of you like me that was rudder, know what I had to learn and how to learn it. I would recommend the minor pentatonic scale first and learn how to play it from A to G, meaning A minor pentatonic, B minor pentatonic, you know, all that, right? Go through it. You got to know it all. The beauty is, shape-wise, it's all the same in the first position. All the scales are the same. All the shapes are the same, meaning you just move them, start them on the root, okay? B is this, A is that, B is that, right? C is that, D is that. It's the 4 gap and then the 2, 2, 4, 4, that kind of. Learn them that way. To learn the notes of the scale, you might want to try along 1 string. Okay, so we've covered that. The A minor pentatonic is really an important scale to know. So now if you know it, you don't have to know it off by heart in F or E or something that you never play in. But at least you know it and understand it and could play it if you had to. Depending on you, there are 2 other scales that are worth it. In order, I would say the major scale. Not major pentatonic, that's number 3. The major scale. If you learn major scale, even in just the open positions, right? If you learn the open positions of the major scale, and then track the major scale, because it has 2 extra notes in it, right? So track it on 1 string, okay? So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. It's got 7 notes. 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2. That's the formula. Okay? We'll do more on this another time. But now, that's what I would do. And the reason is, the major scale, I don't play it very often. I don't invoke the major over chord progressions hardly ever. But the good thing about the major scale, it's kind of like the 2-2-1, 2-2-2-1 is the universal formula for other things like chords in a key. And for building chords out of notes. So quickly what I mean by that is, if you want to find out what the chords are in the key of G. G, that's the first chord. Use the major scale. 2, 2, 1. So we go, G is the root. The next one would be A, right? That's up, A. So we have G, we have an A, because it's a 2 could be an A minor, but for now we'll just play the majors. So G, A, there's the first 2, right? A is 2 frets. Then A to B, right? There's the other 2, so 2, 2. So now we're at G, A, B. Okay, we only go up 1 from the B, so we have a C. Then we D, right? To E, to F sharp, right? E is 1 and then F sharp is 2. So there's your chords in the key of C. The only caveat there is we also need to know that the 2, 3, and 6 are minor and the 1, 4, 5 are major. So what does that mean? It means, what is G? We use the major scale 2, 2, 1 to go to A, right? So G2 is an A, but it's an A minor. From A to B is 2, so there's your 2, 2, but it's a B minor. B to C is 1, it's a C major, it's a 4 chord, right? G, A, B, C, 4, major. So now we're at A or C major. 2 more is a D minor because, sorry, it's a D major, right? Because it's a 5 chord, G, A, B, C, D, G, A, B, C, D, 5. So that's a major. G, A, B, C, D, and E minor, because that's a 6 chord, it's not a 1, 4. So we use the major formula, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, to build our chord progression, our chords in the key of G. If we were looking at the key of A, C, we go up 2, we have a D, but it's a minor. We got to go up 2 more again, it's an E, but it's a minor because that's only the 3rd chord. We go up 1 to the F, that's a 4 chord, so it's a major. And we go up 2 to the G, right? 2 to the A minor, and then we have a B diminished to finish it off. We never play that. We just work chords at our level. Okay, so that's why it's good to know the major scale, the formula of the major scale, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. It's like ordering a pizza. Also from building chords. So what chords are in, or what notes are in the G chord? All right, well, G, 1, so the first note would be 1. We need the 1st, the 3rd, and the 5th note to make a chord, a major chord. Right? So in this case, G would be the 1st note in the G chord. Then we need the 3rd note. So G, A is the 2nd. We don't need that. So G, B is the 2nd. Now we need the 5th. So we skip the C and we play a D. In this case, it's open. So when you look at your G fingering, a major chord that we learn like this, look at what we're fingering. G, B, open D, open G, so it's the same as this, open B, same as this, fretted, And then if we put our ring finger here, we got another G. So if we take the first three, which is a triad, we just play those, we're playing G, B, B. Those are the first, the third, and the fifth note in the chord. That's a triad. You've first triad. We don't play these strings here. We just play 1, 2, and 3. So I could take that finger off. So I could just play, if I'm playing it my way, I'll just use those two fingers, right? That's a G triad. There's a full G. Sounds fuller, right? But it's only because we're playing some of the notes twice. So it sounds fuller and richer, right? In fact, we're playing every note at least twice. I think so. Yeah, because we're playing G, we're playing double Bs. Oh, we're not playing the D twice. We're just playing one open D. But remember, open strings sound fuller and richer than fretted notes. So that's why people like this G. Like this G because it sounds so rich. Because all we're doing is we're singing the notes. We're playing only 3 notes, but we're playing more than them. Where when you play just a G triad, it sounds a little, even though this is on the bassy end, if you played your G somewhere else, like here, you notice how it sounds tinny, because you're only playing 3 notes. Anyways, that is a subject for another one of these sessions down the road. For those of you interested in triads, we're going to explore those. But knowing by knowing the formula of the major scale, we can then build chords within a key, notes within a chord, using that same thing, right? That formula, 2-2-1, 2-2-2-1, right? So once again, if I'm for, let's say it's an A right here, what are the notes in the A major scale? A, B, C sharp, so 2, 2, 1 is my D, 2 to E, 2 to F sharp, and on and on. There's your notes. So that's why I think it's important, or I know it's important, to learn that scale and how it works. So in order, I would learn the minor tonic, and I would learn, again, unless you have a specialty that you want to branch off to once you're going to get good at your guitar and figure things out, if you just want to be all-purpose player, I would learn the all-purpose scale, and that's the minor pentatonic from A, the 5 notes in A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Okay? You will find if you do that, you will know your chicken with peaches and walnuts. Look at you, eh, Mr. Fancy Pretentious Chef Dude. Look at you. Eh? No diner grub for you. Yeah, and it's funny because the counter can be deceiving. I think today it'll probably be around 1,000 or so, but there are many days where the gate's left open, and you know those days you've been around. Some of those days, we've reached 10, 12. I had a 17,000 one time of one of those where the gate was open and we could those come in and everything. But at the end of the, even though it's only 20 here and 30 there, it's a constant revolving door of people coming and going, right? So, oh yeah, excuse me guys. You're gonna hear live. I gotta take this call. Hi, Spiro. Uh-oh. Hello? Yep. Hi, buddy. I'm in a bad area, so I may lose you. I'll have to call you back if I do. I'm good right now. Can you hear me? Oh, maybe not. Are you there? My car is in the hospital, and that was the mechanic calling, so I have to call back. But all right, so I hope this has been a bit of a light bulb. When I did this, it opened a lot of things up for me. So what I ask you to do is give it an honest effort, okay? Again, go to the community tab. You'll see a link. You have to get permission to share. By all means, do whatever you need to do, and I'll get on this and I'll make sure that, if you know how to make it open to everybody so nobody has to ask permission, please let me know. Send me an email. I really think that if you were to do this, this will... Now, some of you might not be ready for this, okay? So if you're playing chords, you don't really know about scales, you're welcome to give it a try, but what happened to me is I got too intimidated with 3, and what does this mean, and what does he mean, 2, 2, 1, what's a root, what's a third? If that's confusing, maybe just give it a little while, let it sit on it. I'm going to be releasing a video either tonight or tomorrow, probably tomorrow morning, that recaps what we just talked about so that you can have something to refer to. And of course, I'm always here to ask questions at any time. You can ask them through any of my videos. Twice a week, you can show up live. I'm also on live. I'll be jumping on live too, than the Tuesdays and Thursdays. So, I think maybe that's it. Is that it? That if you're access to the documents, and if you're not, you have to ask permission. Is that it? I'm not sure, but I'd like to know if anybody knows, because right. So, all right, you beginners on Tuesday at 2 p.m. If you're anywhere, everybody's welcome. But if you're in the new stage in your first 6 months of playing, or you just got home from the store with your new guitar, or you've been mumbling around for 6 to 8 months and not making any traction, we talk a lot more very simplistic early guitar things on Tuesdays at 2 o'clock. Thursdays at 3 is anything goes. And we do try to get answers, because a lot of this stuff, you may not know it now, but it is really easy and basic. I know it sounds weird, because in my first few years, I would look at stuff like this, would spin, and I would just say, no, thank you. Like, I don't get it, need it, don't want it. But it's one of those things that the minute the light bulb goes on, right? The minute the light bulb goes on, it's like, oh yeah, that's what that means. Oh yeah, and it's like when you do a jigsaw puzzle and you're stuck, and then you find that one piece that opens this. Now I can connect this to this and this to this, and everything works, right? That's what this kind of stuff does. It's there for those of you that want to push yourself to learn it, and if you don't worry about it. Play your open chords, throw in the odd bar chord like a B minor and a C sharp minor, and you're going to play any song out there. Use your capo to change keys. Don't worry about it. The last thing you worry about playing your guitar. It should be fun, it should be rewarding, and it should be creative. Okay? All right. Thank you again. And remember, as I always say, just play your guitar, because that's how you get better. And if anybody wants to ever check out any of my playing, I do a lot of it online now. You can see me at streetjelly.com. Okay? It's a busker site. Just like I do a little concert. It might be an hour long, it might be half hour long, whatever. Play songs, usually original songs, throw in the odd cover. And so if anybody are wondering, hey, does this guy even know how to play or sing or anything? Well, I'll leave that up to you to decide, but streetjelly.com, and I am known there as Ray from Alora. Okay? I'll post a link at some point. I'll post a link on my channel. All right? Okay. Thanks, everybody. See you later, okay? Now we're gonna finish out by All right.
Did you know that